Hey guys! Yes, it's finally here. My mommy makeover boob augmentation update video. I know you guys have been waiting for this for so long, but I wanted to wait a couple months just until like the swelling and pain all goes away, which it did. And today marks, I think exactly 3.5 months since I got the surgery done. So I thought it'll be a great time to talk about it now. So for those that have no idea what I'm talking about, please watch the video that I uploaded back in March talking about the reasons why I decided to do this surgery after having my 2 kids. I'm getting a lot of emails asking about the experience. So at first I wasn't going to do this update video, but I decided I will because I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this. Okay, so I have a feeling this video will be super long, so I'm going to divide it into 2 different parts. Today I'll talk about the results and like the day we arrived in Korea and the day of surgery. And then the next part, I'll have it for you later this week. I'll talk about the day after surgery and how I recovered and took care of my scars and stuff. So let's begin. I did go to Korea to get it done, and a lot of people will be like, isn't that more expensive since you have to pay for flight and stuff like that? But like I mentioned, we got our flight tickets, like all of ours, with our mileage points. And then the housing, we stayed at this really nice and safe furnished Airbnb home. I think we paid about 57 USD a night, so it wasn't that bad. So Aiden and I stayed at that place for about 2 weeks, and then 1 week over a week at my mother-in-law's house, which is 2 hours away from Seoul. And then the last few days, we went back to Seoul, and then we got a bigger Airbnb home since we had Yeonu and Sonu that time. So that place was about, I think, 60 something a night too. You know, whenever you travel overseas, the flight ticket and the hotel, those two takes a big chunk out of the expense. So we actually saved a lot on that. So going to Korea, it was my first time after like 10 years. It was my husband's first time going after like 15 years ever since he moved to America. And of course, it was Yeonu and Seonu's first time going. So we were really excited, but we were super nervous. Like, we didn't know what to expect when we landed. That's why I decided to travel with a travel medical agency, because they were a lot of help, and a lot of my friends that got surgery done and just people around me, they talked about how they used a travel medical agency. So that's what I did. So I did use a travel medical agency called Beautique Korea, which is free of charge, and they do so much for you. Like, they pick you up from the airport, take you wherever you need to go as soon as you land, like to your hotel or whatever, and they make like reservations for you if you need to go eat somewhere. And of course, they make all the hospital and surgery reservations for you, so you don't have to worry about anything and just go to Korea. Someone was already there to pick us up, and we asked that person to take us to Seoul-yok station because we had to go to my mother-in-law's house to see my mother-in-law. I met all of Aiden's aunts and uncles and cousins. It was really fun. The surgery was actually scheduled for the next morning, the next day, so we had to drop off the kids to my mother-in-law's house since I have to recover for about 2 weeks, because I know Sonu will like try to run to me and like hit my boob area and want me to hold him and stuff. We dropped him off, checked into our Airbnb home, and then met up with my friend Sunny. We went to Myeongdong and shopped, and I had my last meal. It was a budae place. It was so good. I was told I couldn't eat or drink anything 8 hours before the surgery, which my surgery was early in the morning. So yeah, I knew I couldn't eat breakfast and stuff like that, so I ate a lot that night. Beautique Korea sent over someone to pick us up that morning in a nice luxury car, because Claire said the traffic gets really bad in Korea, and the taxi drivers and like all the other transportations, you could get really sick because they drive really harsh and there's a lot of stops. So the surgery center that I decided to get my breast augmentation done is at Banobagi, and they are super famous for breast augmentation and plastic surgery. And first heard about Banobagi on Let Me In. It's this Korean TV show, so I knew it was a hospital and doctors that I could trust. And my friend Sunny, she actually got the breast augmentation done 2 months before I did, and she showed me pictures and stuff, so I decided to get it done there since hers came out so good. So Claire got the appointment, everything set up for me right away. I was so impressed. Like, I've seen pictures before, but seeing it in person, it was so nice, like clean and fancy. I think they had numerous buildings. I think it was like I know it was like more than 2 buildings, but as I got in there, I was just looking through the books of like before after pictures. And all the girls, nurses were all really nice and sweet. Of course, the doctor was really kind too. He seemed very professional, knew what he was doing, and he didn't like rush me. He actually took his time to answer all my questions. Also, he was complimenting my husband that he looked so handsome. So of course, my husband was so happy too. Claire also got me this goodie bag full of like candies and goodies and face masks and stuff like that. I don't know what we would have done without Claire because she helped us so much. Aiden and I, we forgot to get a SIM card from the airport. We totally forgot. And so she was like, oh, here you go. And she gave us a SIM card. They gave us these cute Kakao cards that you just keep recharging. And that's what you use to ride like the subways and taxis and stuff like that. So thank you so much, Claire, if you're watching this. I got my consultation and the surgery done on the exact same day because I just wanted to get over with it, and I wanted more recovery time while I was in Korea because I only stayed at Korea for like 4 weeks. So I did the consultation first and then the surgery right away. I know some people do the consultation like a few days before and then schedule for the surgery, but I just did on the same day. So when I entered the consultation room, luckily I had Claire there with me because she did all the translations and stuff. Like I'm pretty fluent in Korean, but there's just some vocabularies that I'm not sure of. So she speaks fluent English. So she was there to answer all my questions. She could answer a lot of your questions because she has a lot of experiences because she worked at a lot of plastic surgery centers. So I remember like after surgery, if something was hurting or like I had some questions, I like texted her at night and she replied right away because you can't talk to a doctor. So when I sat down, I took pictures of before surgery so I could compare later. And they asked me what type of implants I wanted and what size I was thinking about. So I told them maybe a full B, like small C. I got so flat after my 2 pregnancies and couldn't even fit an A-size cup bra. I would have been happy with anything, like even a B. So I was like, maybe full B. So she was like, okay, well, we have to talk to the doctor first. I also got it done under the muscle because he said since I don't have like any fat on my breast area, doing under the muscle will look more natural and it won't be as noticeable like the implants. So they also asked me what type of implants that I wanted because there's like different shapes and material. No, there's like a celine type and a silicone type, which I got the silicone. There's a teardrop shape and a just round implant shape, and I got the teardrop shape. So from the side of the boob, the teardrop shape would be kind of like narrow at the top and gradually gets big and rounder from the bottom. So it's more like a shape of a natural breast, and then the round implants, of course, will just be like kind of like this from the side. And I feel like the round implants is more noticeable, like especially up here, you can see like the round implants edges. So for the incision, I did get it under the boob, and the incision is about that long on each boob. The doctor said since I'm very skinny, the under the boob incision will make the implants look more natural. So that's what I did. Super happy with the results, no regrets. So after the consultation, I walked across the hall to where the doctor was, and in there I was wearing a robe. My husband also came in with me. He was looking at the shape of my natural boobs and what size he thinks would be best on me because, you know, if you're small, you wouldn't want to go too big. It might be more noticeable that you got it done. So during the consultation with the doctor, I mentioned to him that I had a few small lumps in my breast from pregnancy. Like I guess it was like pregnancy hormones. So I wanted to double check and make sure it was safe to get the breast augmentation done. So he suggested that I get another sonogram done. So I just walked across the hall and they had a sonogram there. So I got it checked and they said I had one lump near my nipple area, but it didn't look cancerous or anything. So I could choose to just leave it, or I can choose to remove it while I was getting the breast augmentation. He said the lump might be more noticeable and stick out more after the implant gets in, or if the size happens to change later in the future, the surgery will be more difficult because they have to cut the same incision and take out the implant and then remove the lump and then put the implant back in and then sew it up. So I decided to just get it done at the same time, and plus it was a lot cheaper. It was like 1,000 something USD to get it removed at Korea, which is so much cheaper than the prices that I was told here back at home, because here it was a couple thousand, because there's a doctor's fee, there's a hospital fee, there's anesthesia fee, so like there's all these like different fees, so it ended up being a couple thousand. So I'm glad I got it removed and done in Korea. After all that, I had to go in the restroom and remove all my makeup, and it was time for the surgery. We went inside the elevator and then got to the surgery floor. There was a patient waiting room, so Aiden was there with me, and then Claire from Beautique Korea was there with me. So we're just waiting, and then they finally called my name. So I walked out, and then there was this cool like wind sanitizing thing. Go inside the small space and close the door, and then it sanitizes me. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, Aiden, of course, he had to leave after, and I went inside the surgery room. I don't remember anything after that. I just remember laying down on the surgery table, and I was gone. After I woke up, I felt like I was dreaming. I was like, wait, what just happened? I remember I felt kind of itchy, like my throat was itchy because general anesthesia, they put a tube down here, so my throat was really dry, and I literally felt like something was sitting on my chest, like an elephant was sitting on my chest. It's funny because all my friends that got it done before me, they'll always tell me, it just feels like an elephant sitting on your chest, and I was like, what is that? What is that? What kind of feeling is that? But when I was laying there after the surgery, I was like, oh, so this is what it feels like. It seriously feels like an elephant is sitting on your chest. If you ever do decide to get breast augmentation done, I think it'll be good that you take someone there with you, like the first day that you have to stay there, because the first day is when it hurts the most, of course, whenever you're like trying to get up and get down. So my husband always helped me up. He was pretty bored. He was reading like books and stuff. He went outside and picked up food. Oh, that was this really good breakfast toast there. So for comparisons, here's me before pregnancy, and then after pregnancy when I became totally flat, and then now it's a lot softer, and it's not as firm as before. The swelling and stuff went down, so I think this is officially the size, and I don't think it's too big. I think it's good for my body proportion because I'm pretty tall. I'm 5'5", but I'm still skinny, so I didn't want to go too big, like a full C or D. Thanks for watching, guys. And like I mentioned in the other video, I'm not trying to promote surgery. I just want to share my experience, and just for those that are curious or have been wanting to get this done for a really long time. So thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon with part 2. Bye, guys.